Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the reason why Bitcoin has been falling so much, and I also want to talk about the $17 billion bomb that we're going to see in the options market coming up on Friday. So Bitcoin has had kind of a rough couple of days. You can see here that it's fallen all the way from where it was at, 117, 400, down to where it is right now, close to like 112. And we see here on the daily that the sell signal is still in effect. Now, as a reminder, in order for Bitcoin to flip back to a buy, it has to close above this 117,700 area right here, and then the super trend indicator would flip to a buy. But for now, it's still stuck at sell, which means in the near term, we are most likely going to have some more downside. Taking a look at the RSI, we're sitting at about 42 on the daily. Now, Bitcoin usually has bottomed as soon as it hits about 37 or so. It doesn't have that much far to fall before it winds up hitting that support level for RSI. So that's something also to watch. I do think that this 107 region, this support here, will continue to hold. So if Bitcoin falls even further, look for that area for some extreme support. However, I'm not even considering buying any more Bitcoin until it at least moves under this 100,000 support, in which case, like back in June, that would be a fantastic buying opportunity for me. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about one of the reasons why Bitcoin has fallen so far. And if we go ahead and take a look at the liquidations, the long liquidations for Bitcoin, we can see here that $285 million worth of longs were liquidated on the 21st of September. That's an extremely large amount of longs that got liquidated, and you have to go all the way back to about June to find a larger long liquidation event. That's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is down so much. If you take a look at the entire crypto market, in fact, this is one of the largest long liquidation events for the entire crypto market. $1.6 billion worth of longs got wiped out on that day. Next, you take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, sitting now at about a neutral. So this was at greed before, it switched all the way to neutral. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw fear in a couple of days if we continue on this trajectory. We take a look at the spent output profit ratio, the SOPR levels. This is actually below 1 for the first time in quite a while, since back in April. And what this means essentially is that the entire Bitcoin market is underwater, and that the average is no longer profitable, which tracks with what's been going on with the Bitcoin price and the volatility we've seen of late. Now, speaking of volatility, you take a look at the options expiry for the 26th of September. You can see here there are over $17 billion worth of options set to expire on this Friday, max praying price of about 110 or so. So as a reminder, the price does tend to gravitate towards the max pain price, though you can see two huge strike prices here at 140,000. This is 1.1 billion over here, and then another one here at 95,000, another 1.1 billion dollars worth of options or open interest right here. And you can kind of see that we're kind of stuck in between both of these. So if this max pain price kind of theory holds out, we'll probably stick around 110. We have a little bit more downside to go by the end of the week, but I wouldn't be surprised if before that we have a huge spike to the upside and then followed by another downside move, or another downside move followed by a spike in order to equalize the price and bring it closer to that 110 region. But just be sure that this is a massive amount of volatility. This is one of the largest expiries I've seen in some time. The put to call ratio 0.76 means that there are more bulls than bears, generally speaking, for this. So that's something to keep an eye on. But this will most likely be one of the most volatile Fridays that we've seen on the market. Now, we're also going to go ahead and talk about the Bitcoin Exchange liquidation heat map. This gives you an idea of the number of longs and shorts that can be liquidated depending on the Bitcoin price. And you tend to see there's a large amount of liquidity sitting here, the short liquidation leverage sitting here. Above 114, you would liquidate about $2.68 billion worth of short shorts getting liquidated here, and then you go all the way up to $12 billion worth of shorts getting liquidated if you move up to 127K. So if Bitcoin can just find a little bit of momentum, then we can actually see the price rip much, much higher, and we could wind up seeing a new all-time high, which I do think is going to be happening. It's just going to take a little bit longer than initially planned. Now, as a reminder, you have September, and September is usually the worst month for Bitcoin, and October is one of the best months for Bitcoin. So that's something to keep in mind. We go ahead and take a look at our Whale wallet number 7, and you can see here Whale wallet number 7 has been buying Bitcoin and continues to buy Bitcoin at these low levels. This is not surprising considering this whale has been dip buying like crazy. I mean, we can see here that it's some significant buys here, 10, 15,000 a Bitcoin or so. And this whale will probably continue to buy as long as the price remains depressed. And I think that that's likely in the near term. The whale is not the only one buying Bitcoin, however. You have some new companies like, for instance, the GD Culture Group Limited that added 7,500 Bitcoin. That's a new position for them. And then the usual suspects, iBit adding 1,793 here. And then you also have iBit adding here again, almost 1,300. And then FBTC adding about another 800 or so in the past couple of days. So we continue to see a large amount of Bitcoin being bought up by these funds, by these companies that want to use it as a store of value. This is basically what changes the game here for the Bitcoin price, and it looks like this trend is going to continue. So it's been a rough couple of days for Bitcoin, but let me know what you guys think about the current price action, if you're going to be buying or selling or just holding on to what you have. Right now, I'm just holding. And like I said, a move below 100K is when I would actually start to get excited. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys are doing, and I'll catch you in the next video.